Hi everyone, this is Mike Kramer of Mott Capital. Tonight is January 16th. It's around 6:30 New York time. So tomorrow, January 17th, is going to be a pretty busy day here in the U.S. You're going to get retail sales. We're looking for an increase of 0.4% versus 0.3% last month. Retail sales ex auto, we're looking for a 0.2% increase month over month versus 0.2% last month. Ex auto and gas, we're looking for 0.3% down from 0.6%. And the retail sales control group, we're looking for 0.2 from 0.4. Then we're going to expect it to get import prices falling negative 0.5% versus last month's decline of 0.4. Import ex petroleum, we're looking for an increase of 0.1 versus last month's 0.2. Year over year, import prices are expected to decline by 2% versus last month's reading of 1.4. Export prices month over month, we're looking for down 0.7%, up from negative 0.9% last month. Year over year, we're looking for negative 0.7%, up from last month's reading of negative 5.2% year over year. Industrial production down 0.1% versus last month's 0.2%. And capacity utilization 78.7% versus last month's 78.8%. And then there will also be a slew of Fed speakers tomorrow. You're going to have Barr speaking, then Bowman, then you're going to get the Beige Book, and then at 3 o'clock you're going to get Williams speaking. We're coming into the period where we're going to see the blackout period start for the Fed, so we shouldn't have any more Fed speakers after Friday. And on the calendar, we don't have any scheduled, so the Fed meeting obviously will be coming up at the end of January 31st. So we're kind of entering the end of Fed speak, and we're going to get a lot of economic data tomorrow. And when we just take a look and see what was really happening today, we saw a lot of dollar strength today with the dollar index up about 64 basis points. The dollar index had been consolidating now for a few days in this 102 to 102.5 area. We can see it clearly broke out with the next level of resistance somewhere around this 103.5 region. We've talked recently about, the dollar index showing signs of trying to turn higher. It finally did on the RSI. The momentum clearly broke out today, and it looks like there's probably some more room to run, at least on a momentum basis, before getting too overbought, and that could take us over 103.5 and potentially up towards 104.5 by the time maybe this little rally is all said and done before we take a pause. The euro also today very weak, falling by about 70 basis points on the day. Here you can see your big uptrend. Here you can see your loss of momentum. You break the uptrend here. This is we've broken a level of support here around 45 on the RSI. So this is clearly showing you momentum is fading. A break of this uptrend here results in a move down probably to around 107.5. If the euro can hang on here, it maybe can bounce back here, this 109.5 region. But the amount of strength we're seeing in the dollar and the kind of weakness we're seeing in the euro, I think favors it moving lower. Of course, if we get weak retail sales numbers tomorrow, that will help the euro. Here we can see the pound also had a weak day, falling by 70 basis points. Here you can see the momentum indicator showing a clear breakdown and a big move lower. We're still kind of hovering right around the 50 level on the RSI, so we'd want to see it get a little bit lower here to confirm this momentum has turned. It looks like you have a little bit of a rising wedge here. That clearly broke. And for now, it looks like there's maybe some support around 126. But I think the more meaningful level of support probably comes around this 125 area or so. When we swing over to the equity market indices, today we saw the Dow give back some, falling by about 63 basis points. Certainly nothing too dramatic given that we've seen how much the Dow has rallied. This is a big area of support around this 37,100, 37,200 region. You can see that this has been an area now that's held up pretty well for basically a couple of months here, going back to the middle of December. A break of this level at 37,155, I think, sets up a decline back to this 36,582. When we look at the RSI, you can see that's still fairly high. It is starting to come down some, but there's still plenty of room for it to fall further. And so I think that the likelihood is if we see the dollar continue to strengthen, you are going to see equity prices begin to move lower. Also, when we take one last look at the Dow here, if we were to draw a trend line, you can see across these lows, we did just barely get lower today, and then the very last few minutes we were able to snap back and get back above it. So the momentum seems to be fading here on the Dow, but really until you break this 37,150 area, the onus is on the bears to really prove themselves here, because again, upside you could quickly snap back up to this 37,700 region. And then finally on the NDX today, interestingly, we've now failed 3 times at the 16,890 area, one on the 10th, once on the 12th, and now once again on the 16th. So this looks like an area that's really proving to be difficult. Here's our gap fill from January 2nd and December 29th. This is an area that's really proving to be difficult for the Nasdaq to get through. Meanwhile, you can see we're starting to show signs of making lower ties on the RSI. We would clearly need the RSI to really break down. If that were to happen tomorrow, another down day comes tomorrow, I think you start developing a downtrend in the RSI, showing you that momentum is shifting. And again, when we look at the Nasdaq, this is your big level here. You got to get over this. If you can't get over 16,900, this is pretty much the top of the line here. If you get above that, you probably come back up and take out these highs at 16,963. As long as you stay below this, I think the doorway is open to potentially refilling this gap all the way down here at 16,300 before you really get into any more trouble. Because once you break that level, then you're talking about going back into the upper 15,000 range. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Good luck tomorrow, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.